So let me walk you through what happened with Canva because that's the biggest question we have with our customers and prospects was about Canva. What happened, Paulo? How did they get hacked? Such a big company. What happened there? What's true about it? So I'll walk you through a little bit of that incident so you understand what's in there for you as well, what you need to look for because of this. So what happened? April 25th to April 29th was what we call the dwell time. April 25th, they had an unauthorized access inside Canva. And the industry average was 10 days, so they catch in 4 days. It's not bad, but it's terrible for you. So one thing is that all 4 days, the compromise happened and the credential was used to compromise even further. That was the first thing that I want to talk about is the 4 days of dual time allowed, the attackers to really go free all over the Canva infrastructure to plan for the exfiltration of data. All that happened in the first 4 days because on April 29th, it actually catch it. But they did not notify because they're not obligated to sometimes. And they said, okay, we catch it. We'll take full ownership of it. We'll work ourselves into understanding what happened, but we're not notifying it. When people get notified? It's when Reddit starts seeing screenshots of the IOCs that happened with Coma. And then they actually felt obligated to go publicly and tell what happened. And we saw a lot of screenshots of defaced login pages for some institutions. And then there was clearly things that happened in the back end. So just to give you a timeline, there was 12 days between unauthorized access and customer awareness about that compromise. 12 days. And one thing that I want to make sure is when you build detections for things like this, that those detections work on your side. And what those could look like, right? What happened in the Canva breach is in your side of the playbook that you should be done during the same timeline. So when you think about the first time, which is April 25th, threat actors gain unauthorized access to Canva production. On your side, you don't have that visibility yet, so don't blame yourself because they are focusing on the underlying infrastructure of the software versus actually on the customer tenants at that point. So that's not visible yet. But no matter what, you should be for sure monitoring the API on your own tenant, right? On April 29th, when the infrastructure actually detect intrusion, revoke access, and engage forensics to it, that's what your side should have started. Because you need to have what we call the cross-tenant detections. You need to watch for anonymous OF grants in your Canva tenant. If you're not watching for that at that point, you would not catch that revoke of access. You would not catch a lot of things that could happen in these 4 days. So again, in your site, make sure that you always watch for anonymous OF grants. On May 7, when they actually exploited a second vulnerability, which was the login page defaced, right? Reddit becomes your IOC source. Make sure you force what I call the IDP logouts, rotate your SML tokens, and snapshot logs between vendor rotate theirs because they will be doing that and you're going to get zero visibility after that. So again, make sure you contain on your side, and we're going to talk about container later, but make sure you actually have that playbook ready, not just for what Canva happened, but another breach happens and you're ready for it. And of course, on May 11, they were required to pay the $10 million saying, yes, we return your data and destroy it. But on your side, statement, it's not proof. PowerSchool, for example, paid $2.85 million at ransom, right, last year, and they got extorted 5 months later. They tracked student data as compromised ones, and they, actually PowerSchool needed to pay again. So we want to make sure that a statement is not proof. Make sure you got the proof that your data is safe before moving forward, right? And of course, on the vendor side, it has a class action field in U.S. District Court, right? If you want, make sure you talk to your board and your general counsel team if you want to join that class action if you get or you have a pool risk profile on Instructure, which is the one of conduct. All right. So I want to make sure that comparing what happened to Canva and what's your side, because at OneAxiom we care about your side. Make sense? So moving forward, I would say that Canva is not an outlier. It's a pattern.